Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Here begins the essay. The year 1954 marks a pivotal point in the advancement of game theory, specifically with the publication of John Nash's seminal work, Non-Cooperative Games. This dissertation, undertaken as part of his doctoral studies at Princeton University, provided a rigorous mathematical framework for analyzing strategic interactions where players act independently, pursuing their own self-interests, without the possibility of binding agreements. Its significance stems from its clear articulation of the Nash equilibrium concept, a solution concept that now permeates economics, political science, biology, and numerous other disciplines. To fully appreciate the importance of Nash's contribution, one must first understand the intellectual landscape from which it emerged. Game theory, as a formal discipline, began with John von Neumann and Oskar Morgenstern's magnum opus, Theory of Games and Economic Behavior, published in 1944. Their work provided a mathematical structure for analyzing games of strategy, focusing predominantly on zero-sum games, where one player's gain is necessarily another player's loss. While groundbreaking, this focus limited the applicability of their theory to a relatively narrow range of real-world scenarios. Von Neumann and Morgenstern also devoted considerable attention to cooperative games, where players can form coalitions and make binding agreements. This emphasis on cooperation, while valuable, left a significant gap in the understanding of situations where such cooperation is impossible or impractical. Prior to Nash, the mathematical tools to examine the equilibrium of non-cooperative games remained comparatively undeveloped. Nash's contribution lay in providing a rigorous and general framework for analyzing non-cooperative games. The central concept he introduced is the Nash equilibrium. A Nash equilibrium is a state in which no player can improve their outcome by unilaterally changing their strategy, assuming that the other player's strategies remain constant. Put another way, it is a stable state in which each player's strategy is the best response to the strategies of the other players. This simple, yet profound, idea had a revolutionary impact on the field. The mathematical formulation of the Nash equilibrium rests on the concept of best response correspondences. Consider a game with n players, where each player I has a set of possible strategies denoted by S sub I. The payoff function for player I is a function that maps a combination of strategies played by all players to a real number, representing the player's utility or payoff. The best response correspondence for player I maps the strategies of the other players to the set of players' strategies that maximize their payoff, given the other player's strategies. A Nash equilibrium is then defined as a vector of strategies, one for each player, such that each player's strategies are best response to the strategies of the other players. Mathematicians express the Nash equilibrium as a fixed point of the combined best response correspondences. Nash's 1950 paper, Equilibrium Points in N-Person Games, which preceded the 1954 dissertation, proved the existence of such an equilibrium in mixed strategies for any finite game, provided that the players are allowed to randomize over their pure strategies. This is the crux of Nash's existence theorem. A mixed strategy is a probability distribution over a player's pure strategies. The introduction of mixed strategies broadened the scope of game theory considerably, allowing for the analysis of games where there may be no equilibrium in pure strategies. The proof relies on Kakitani's fixed-point theorem, a powerful result from topology that guarantees the existence of a fixed point for certain types of correspondences. Its application to game theory was nothing short of ingenious. The immediate impact of Nash's work was felt primarily within the academic community. Economists and mathematicians alike grappled with the implications of his existence theorem and the concept of Nash equilibrium. One immediate application was in the analysis of oligopolistic markets, where a small number of firms compete with each other. Previously, models of oligopoly were often ad hoc and lacked a solid theoretical foundation. Nash's non-cooperative game theory provided a framework for analyzing these markets, allowing economists to predict the prices and quantities that would emerge in equilibrium. The Carnot model of oligopoly, for example, could now be seen as a specific instance of a Nash equilibrium in a non-cooperative game. Another earlier application was in the field of international relations. The Cold War, with its delicate balance of power between the United States and the Soviet Union, provided a fertile ground for the application of gamma-theoretic thinking. Scholars used Nash theory to analyze the strategic interactions between the two superpowers, focusing on issues such as arms control and nuclear deterrence. The concept of mutually assured destruction, while morally repugnant, could be understood as a Nash equilibrium in a game of nuclear brinkmanship. Of course, One might reasonably question the rationality of participants in such a game, but the insights remain valuable. The enduring legacy of Nash's work is truly remarkable. The Nash equilibrium has become a fundamental concept in economics, used to analyze a wide range of strategic interactions, from auctions and bargaining to voting and network formation. Its influence extends far beyond economics, impacting fields such as political science, sociology, and even biology. Evolutionary game theory, for instance, uses the Nash equilibrium concept to model the evolution of behavior in animal populations over time. Nash's work has been extended and generalized in numerous ways. Refinements of the Nash equilibrium concept have been developed to address situations where there may be multiple equilibria, some of which are more plausible than others. For example, the concept of subgame perfect equilibrium, introduced by Reinhard Selten, eliminates Nash equilibria that rely on non-credible threats. Other refinements, such as trembling hand perfection, address the issue of errors in decision-making. Furthermore, researchers have developed dynamic models of game theory, which allow for the analysis of strategic interactions that unfold over time. These models often incorporate learning and adaptation, allowing players to adjust their strategies based on their past experiences. Bayesian game theory extends the analysis to situations where players have incomplete information about the other player's payoffs or strategies. In these Bayesian games, players update their beliefs based on the actions of the other players, leading to complex patterns of strategic interaction. Despite its enormous success, Nash's work has also been subject to criticism. One common criticism is the Nash equilibrium concept assumes that players are perfectly rational and have complete information about the game. In reality, people often make mistakes, are influenced by emotions, and have limited information about the world around them. Behavioral game theory attempts to address these limitations by incorporating psychological insights into the analysis of strategic interactions. Researchers in this field have conducted experiments to study how people actually behave in games, finding that they often deviate from the predictions of standard game theory. For example, people may be more cooperative than standard theory predicts, especially in situations where fairness and reciprocity are important. Another criticism is that the Nash equilibrium concept does not always provide a unique solution to a game. In many games, there are multiple Nash equilibria, making it difficult to predict which equilibrium will actually emerge. Economists have developed various equilibrium selection criteria to address this problem, but there is no universally accepted solution. The coordination game, where players must choose the same strategy in order to achieve a good outcome, illustrates this problem. If two drivers approach each other on a road, there are two Nash equilibria. Each driver can drive on the left or each driver can drive on the right. In this game, the critical challenge is to coordinate on one of these equilibria. The reception of Nash's work, while ultimately overwhelmingly positive, was not without its initial skepticism. Some economists initially questioned the relevance of the Nash equilibrium concept, arguing that it was too abstract and unrealistic to be of practical value. Others were concerned about the computational complexity of finding Nash equilibria, especially in large games. However, as the power of computers increased, and as economists developed more efficient algorithms for finding Nash equilibria, these concerns gradually diminish. The direct influence of Nash's work on others is undeniable. Countless economists, mathematicians, and other scholars have built upon his foundations, extending and generalizing his ideas in numerous directions. Prominent figures such as Robert Aumann, Lloyd Shapley, and Thomas Schelling, all Nobel laureates in economics, were profoundly influenced by Nash's work. Schelling, in particular, applied game theory to the analysis of conflict and cooperation, developing influential models of bargaining and strategic commitment. Aumann's work focused on the concept of correlated equilibrium, a generalization of the Nash equilibrium that allows players to coordinate their strategies through a common signal. Shapley contributed significantly to cooperative game theory, developing the Shapley value, a solution concept that assigns a fair share of the benefits of cooperation to each player. Nash himself drew inspiration from a variety of sources. Von Neumann and Morgenstern's theory of games and economic behavior was undoubtedly a major influence, providing the initial framework for formal analysis of games. Nash also benefited from interactions with other mathematicians and economists at Princeton University, including Albert Tucker, who supervised his doctoral dissertation. Tucker famously illustrated the prisoner's dilemma, a canonical example in game theory, which perfectly exemplifies the tensions between individual rationality and collective well-being. In conclusion, John Nash's non-cooperative games represents a watershed moment in the history of game theory. His articulation of the Nash equilibrium concept provided a powerful and general framework for analyzing strategic interactions, transforming economics and influencing a wide range of other disciplines. While his work has been subject to criticism and refinement over the years, its enduring legacy is undeniable. The Nash equilibrium remains a cornerstone of modern economic theory, and its applications continue to expand as researchers explore new and complex strategic interactions. The intellectual debt owed to Nash by generations of scholars is profound, and his contribution to our understanding of strategic behavior is likely to remain relevant for many years to come. His work underscores the power of abstract mathematical reasoning to illuminate the complexities of human interaction, even, and perhaps especially, when those interactions are characterized by competition and self-interest. The elegance and depth of his insights are a testament to the enduring power of human intellect. Even now, decades after its publication, non-cooperative games continues to inspire and challenge scholars, prompting them to explore the frontiers of strategic thinking.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.